you please read the statement of compliance?
In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice of this meeting has been properly advertised in the Daily Record and Suburban Trends. Its agenda has been posted at the appropriate locations, and a copy has been filed with the Pequannock Township Clerk.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Here.
Mr. Cerisi? Here. Mrs. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Gittin?
Here.
Ms. Aikeo?
Here.
Mr. McSweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pompeo?
Here.
Mr. Senek?
Here.
Mrs. Shenton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everyone please stand for the flag salute? Good evening. Welcome to our October 6th workshop meeting. At our last meeting on Thursday, I read a statement pertaining to the current legal situation. I'm not going to read that statement again because the situation is unchanged, but I would like to make a few statements. First, the district is working with law enforcement and following all applicable laws. Second, as stated on Thursday, we welcome public comment and we want you to come forward and share your concerns and perspectives. For your information, there are two public comment opportunities tonight. The first is for agenda items, and the second is for any item. The current legal matter is an agenda item tonight. Therefore, you may speak during the first public session if you wish. Please know that while we want to answer all your questions, we cannot because of the current ongoing criminal investigation and personnel matter. Third, a question came up at the last meeting about the music program at PTHS and our plan moving forward. The board is committed to ensuring that our music program continues at the highest level, and Dr. Portis will give an update on that topic during his report. Fourth, Pequannock is an outstanding community and school district. Our students work hard and achieve success on many levels every year. The board wants to continue to celebrate the achievements of our students now more than ever. Therefore, we will proceed with our originally scheduled meeting program tonight, in which we will honor our National Merit Commended students and AP Scholars. After that, Dr. Portis and Mr. Hazler will give a performance report on our advanced placement program, which is thriving. Last, I want to say that today begins the week of respect in our district. Each day, students wear a different color or item of clothing to promote kindness, anti-bullying, cancer awareness, school spirit, and Pequannock pride in the blue and gold. We wish all the students and staff a great week ahead. Thank you, and now I'll hand it over to Dr. Portis.
Thank you, Mr. Senek. Usually I send it straight over to the student representatives. I'm actually going to speak first and then obviously send it over to them. In a transition from what Mr. Senek was saying, to echo the sentiment, our focus with our music program is to move forward with our students and families to provide the best experience possible. Late last week, Mrs. Mildner and Ms. Barboza, who was our STEM and science supervisor, met with students during lunch on Friday and started mapping out how we can ensure that our students can still be successful in a program that means so much to them as well as to our community. And just to give background to Ms. Barboza's qualifications, I realize when I say someone is in STEM and science, music doesn't necessarily jump to mind. That is, her background is in musical theater as well as in vocal music. And she stepped forward to say, I can help. She's worked here for about 3.5, 4 months, and she already has embraced the spirit that I think really guides not just the school district, but this community, that mentality that I can help. And she already is, and I was very optimistic about that meeting, as well as what's coming out of it. So we met later that day as an administrative team to establish what we're looking for to staff the programs as well as the classroom. We're going to continue to collaborate with students and their families on ensuring that we have the strongest vocal music and theater program that we can. And I appreciate the input that I've received from parents about this. I try to make myself as available as possible, and I appreciate that there can be such open conversations. And I'm so proud of our kids for being able to step up and trust that administrative team and others want to work to help them. And I know that this is a huge part of their identity, and it means a lot to them. Speaking of that, I was able to attend the band competition on Saturday night. I'm incredibly impressed with the level of preparation from our band families, the performance of our students under Mr. Streifer's direction and leadership, and the incredible turnout from our community. Commented to a friend that it felt like a celebration of the present as well as an important step in a community healing process. And I just felt a tremendous sense of togetherness and belief, and it was truly a wonderful night. On a humorous side note, I was coerced into purchasing, and I'm with the band's, I'm here for the band's T-shirt, which I was able to model. It's a really nice shirt. My wife asked me, she said, "You need another T-shirt?" I'm like, "No, but I needed a band shirt." And so now I have one, and I don't ever use the word promise, but I guess I sort of did Mrs. Meyer that I will bless you where, I didn't promise to bless her. I promised that I would wear my rain jacket again next year because every year that I've gone, I've pretty much brought monsoon rains with me. So this year, I figured if I wear a rain jacket, the rain will be kept at bay. And my superstition apparently worked, so I'm wearing it again next year. On a much more serious note from Saturday, I'd like to offer my condolences to the first responders as well as family of Ms. Christine Franciscone, who's a proud member of our first aid squad. And a reminder that we are a very close-knit community in Pequannock, and it bears repeating that our prayers are with her, with her family, and that the district is here to help. And then finally, before I provide a segue to give the young ladies an opportunity to speak about from their perspective, we do have an AP presentation tonight, and I'll just give you a little background. The genesis for this presentation actually started back in July. I was out for an early morning run down in North Carolina, and this administrative team knows that I'm off limits down there, and I got a text on my phone, and I thought, it's got to be pretty significant. It was from Mr. Hazler. So I finished up my run and gave him a quick call, and pretty out of breath at that point, and I think he was out of breath too, because he was so excited, and he was so proud of what our students had accomplished. And they didn't accomplish it alone. They accomplished it with the support of our staff, the teachers who are trusted to teach them in these AP classes. And it was such a wonderful experience back in July. We've been excited to be able to present this tonight. And I say that we're going to present it. There's a microphone, there's Mr. Hazler. I'm not going to be saying very much. But we have an opportunity to share something outstanding with our community, and I think that's really important. So when we mapped out our plan for this fall for data presentations, this is what's on October 6th, and then October 27th, Mrs. Vanskill is going to present on the state scores. But I think it's important to keep this in place as a reminder that this celebrates the hard work of our staff and students, and we get a chance also to recognize many of the students who helped us to earn those results. So I believe it's a celebration of what we're here for and what we do, and I'd like to thank all the students and their parents who came here tonight, and also proactively thank Mr. Hazler for being prepared for the presentation. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our wonderful trio of student representatives, including, she doesn't have a nameplate, Olivia Esposito. You're going to eventually earn your nameplate. I think it's for your you have to go to 3 meetings first, and then you get a nameplate, but we'll make sure we have you fitted out for one as well. So I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and now we're going to transition over to the student report. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia Esposito, and I'm excited to be the 3rd Board of Ed speaker this year. I'm currently a junior at PTHS. I've been enrolled in the Allied Healthcare Academy since freshman year. I'm also enrolled in AP Language and Composition and AP US History 2 this year. I serve on the executive board of HOSA as a reporter. I am also involved in the Interact Club's fundraising committee, How to Have Humanity, Student Council, United by UNICEF, Unified Sports, and Peer Leaders. In addition, I am a varsity fall and winter cheerleader and a coach for the PYSA 5th and 6th grade cheer. I look forward to sharing the student perspective and highlighting the great work and pride happening in our schools. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to represent my peers. Now for the report, fall sports have been continuing to work hard. Good luck to all the sports teams and their county tournaments. Tennis had their senior night on Thursday. Congratulations to the seniors on their hard work for the past 4 years. Field hockey senior night is tonight. Congrats to all the seniors in the program for their hard work over the past 4 years. Congratulations to Fiona Arnold and Ava Schickman on 100 career kills. Homecoming had a great turnout with over 385 students in attendance. The students enjoyed music and hanging out with their friends. Following the dance, Spirit Week had a great turnout each day. Students were involved in themes and truly showed their school spirit each day. The week ended with the Hall of Fame inductions on Thursday night, the fall pep rally where students had a great time competing against each other and teachers in fun games, and we had our whiteout football game on Friday night. The homecoming king and queen were announced at the homecoming football game. Congratulations to James Strahans, who was named king, and Olivia Forino, who was named queen.
The PTHS Student Activity Fair was held during lunch, where students were able to walk around and talk to different student representatives and advisors from the clubs. Timothy Shoemaker came to the high school last Tuesday to provide a presentation entitled Clicks, Choices, and Consequences. The assembly focused on making important decisions regarding drug and alcohol use, social media, and social interactions with peers. The speaker interacted with the students, included personal stories about his life as a police officer, and encouraged us to support one another in living our best lives. This assembly kicked off the month of October, where there is the Week of Respect, Red Ribbon Week, School Violence and Vandalism, and Digital Citizenship Week. AP Lang and AP Gov collaborated in a conversation on Wednesday about the Declaration of Independence. AP Lang students discussed the rhetoric, and AP Gov students discussed the political values in the document. The 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence is coming up. The marching band had its home competition this Saturday, October 4th, on the stadium field. Congratulations to everyone, and a special thank you to the Association of Music Parents and to Mr. Streifer, who helped organize the event. Presidents and vice presidents from NHS, the Student Council, and members of the Spirit Committee were invited to attend the NJAC Wellness Summit held at Mountain Creek, New Jersey today. Over 300 students and staff from the NJAC conference attended keynote speeches and workshops on topics of mindfulness, digital citizenship, college readiness, and leadership tips. The students will be relaying the information to their respective grade levels at a later date. Emily will finish the rest.
The College Knowledge Night is on Wednesday in the auditorium, where students and their parents can attend to learn more information about the college application process and hear from the guidance department. There will also be a financial aid night on October 16th via Zoom, where the Principia Prep will be providing information to the parents about what to look for financial aid and scholarships. An email was sent out to all the parents registered for the live webinar. The school counseling department is setting up individual college meetings for students to meet with admission counselors. The colleges include Keene University, Montclair State University, Rutgers Newark, William Patterson University, Rider University, Ramapo College, Moravian University, Temple University, and more to follow. Information will be coming regarding these dates and visits. The school counseling department is also setting up immediate decision days where colleges will come to review applications and accept students that same day. The department is looking at a date in December. NHS is holding peer tutoring sessions on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, where students can come and get help from their peers in their core subjects. This week, schools throughout the district are recognizing the Week of Respect with different themes in school spirit. At the high school, Student Council is arranging a Take What You Need wall designed to enable students to take positive affirmations with them throughout the week. 4 years and beyond, our PTHS orientation program is coming up on October 23rd here at PTHS. We look forward to meeting all the 8th graders who will be attending or looking to attend PTHS next year. Thank you for your time and have a great night.
Thank you. That was outstanding, very well coordinated, and very, very informative. And one thing I will add as well, just as an aside to that too, in terms of the College Knowledge Night and other events, please fall on us for whatever help you need in terms of help of the college application process. I know it's stressful for students, but it's also very stressful for families too, and it can become quite overwhelming. And I've been through it with all 3 of my kids, and I was a high school educator for a long time. It's a lot. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Honestly, if you reach out to me and you want insight as a parent, I can speak in that role as well. So thank you so much for presenting all that. Great job. And Olivia, it looks like you're going to be getting that nameplate. That was great. So thank you. And now our next part of the evening is going to focus on student recognitions. Mr. Hazel will speak about our National Merit Commended Students as well as our AP scholars, and there's 3 different categories for that. We'll help the students have the recognition first. This way, if they have to get home and focus on their studies, they'll have the opportunity to do so. We'll follow that up with the AP performance report, and then we'll get into the rest of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Portis. And thank you to the members of the Board of Education for allowing me to be here this evening. It is so critically important to celebrate the success of our students. They are the heartbeat of this building, and they are certainly my heartbeat as the principal of Pequannock Township High School. So tonight, PTHS congratulates 2 seniors, Timothy Anderson and Aubrey Lentz, for earning the status of National Merit Commended Students for 2026. Approximately 34,000 students across the country earn this distinction based on a nationally applied selection index score based on their performance on the PSAT in their junior year. Timothy is an outstanding scholar at PTHS. He is currently taking 2 AP classes, which are Literature and Composition and Environmental Science, and took 4 AP classes and 5 AP tests last year, earning a 5 on every exam. He is currently at Morris County College, half a day, taking Calculus 3 and Linear Algebra. So I'd like to call up Mr. Timothy Anderson. Tim, you can stand up there for a second. Aubrey has also taken advantage of her time here at PTHS. She's currently enrolled in 3 AP courses in Literature, Government and Politics, and Statistics. This follows her successful junior year, where she also took 3 AP classes. She's an incredibly active student, involved in too many activities to list, but most recently was named Vice President of Internal Affairs for Habitat for Humanity, and has also already been a big help in reestablishing our Folio magazine this year. She's a member of the National Honor Society and is an award-winning member of our track and field team. Miss Aubrey Lentz. Congratulations to our National Merit Commended students. Todd, can you take a picture? They will be coming back up here shortly, so don't go anywhere, you too. Every fall, the AP program recognizes high school students who have demonstrated outstanding college-level achievement through their performance on multiple AP exams. AP Scholar Awards come in different levels and types, and I'll be talking about them in my presentation this evening, but I'll go over them right now. The first is an AP Scholar, and this is granted to students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Our AP Scholars with honors are granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken, and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of those exams. And then AP Scholar with distinction. These are granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of those exams. Pequannock Township High School is proud to announce that we had 24 AP Scholars with an average of 3.71. We had 19 AP Scholars with honors with an average score of 4.21, and 25 AP Scholars with distinction with an average score of 4.40, which is pretty amazing. Let's give them a round of applause. Tonight, we will be recognizing those students who are currently students here at PTHS and continuing in the AP program. Students who graduated last year received a letter of commendation in the mail from me, and really just appreciate their hard work and dedication, many of which we acknowledged last year as AP Scholars at our board meeting. So I'm going to call up by alphabetical order, and I'll announce where they fall. But up first is Shane Albinson, an AP Scholar with honors. Timothy Anderson, AP Scholar with distinction. Ben Bartone, AP Scholar. Derek Sepiel, AP Scholar with honors. Megan Diorizio, AP Scholar with distinction. Victoria Gaba, AP Scholar. Ugs Karemadir, AP Scholar. Miriam Kirkatsi, AP Scholar. Congratulations. Sophia Klecha, AP Scholar. Aubrey Lenz, AP Scholar with distinction. Shannon McGowan, AP Scholar. Darsh Mistry, AP Scholar with honors. Jillian Nafee, AP Scholar. Todd Nafee, AP Scholar with honors. John O'Connor, AP Scholar. Evan Pera, AP Scholar. Eva Rodriguez, AP Scholar. Claire Siddig, AP Scholar with honors. Shannon Siddig, AP Scholar with distinction. Where is she? At work? She's at work. James Stryans, AP Scholar. Also Homecoming King. And last but not least, Tristan Sidoric, AP Scholar with distinction. Our AP Scholars, everybody, congratulations. All right, let's see if you can organize yourselves in a way that we can get you all in one photo. This is your challenge. Look at them go. Brian, can you... Once again, congratulations to our AP Scholars. Students, you are good to go. Aldo, if you could. You're welcome. Congratulations. All right, once again, good evening, everyone. I'm going to just take a few minutes to talk a little bit about our AP scores and how we did. Last year, if you remember, for those of you last year, I did a presentation up at Cedar Crest at the beginning of the year. So some of this is a little bit similar, but I wanted to share with the audience kind of what the AP program is really all about. So tonight's overview is going to be really to showcase our students and how well they did in the 2024-2025 school year, provide a 5-year historical trend in student performance, and then identify some action steps to continue our path to success. Because I never want to, as successful as we are, we never want to rest on our laurels, right? And we want to make sure that we are providing our students with ways to push beyond what they think they can do. And so we're looking at various things that we'll talk about this evening. So just really very quickly, some of the basics about the Advanced Placement Program. AP courses are college-level courses that are offered in the high school setting. Courses reflect what is taught in an introductory college-level class, and the AP exams are taken near the end of the course in May and measure student mastery. One of the things that you have to keep into consideration is we are taking exams in May at the same time that some schools across the country start in early August, right? So our students are starting in September, almost a month behind sometimes when you're looking at schools in the Midwest. And so our students are really working incredibly hard to do well on these exams. And a score of 3 or higher on an AP exam can typically earn students college credit and or placement into an advanced course in college. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the courses that we offer, but also the myths to that, because some parents and some students think that those credits can apply to anything, and I'll clear that up as we go. These are the courses that we offer here at PTHS that are AP designated courses. You'll see that some have asterisks next to them, that those are based on enrollment. So courses like in English, we have AP Seminar and AP Research. That is a capstone program, so the research course is based on whether or not the seminar class runs. So this year our seminar class is running. We have 8 students in it, with the expectation that those 8 students would then take research in their either junior or senior year, depending on what year they're in. There is talk in different schools throughout the state about AP Seminar being an English 10 honors level course. We are looking at that. I'm not necessarily saying that that's going to happen next year, but that's something that we're having conversations with our language arts department because it really is a tremendous opportunity for our students. In history, you'll see the same thing with art history, calculus BC. We have some students that will take AP Calculus and choose which exam to take. So they'll take the Calc AB or they'll take the Calc BC exam. We had 2 students last year take BC, both got 5s. This year we are running a new course, Computer Science A, so that is a new addition to our Computer Science STEM program. And I'd like to thank Ms. Froelich, she's teaching that, but Mr. Kopp for his drive as our Academy Coordinator, and Ms. Barbosa, they were big into getting that on the slate of classes for our students. And then you'll see in our sciences, you'll see that Physics 1 and Physics C Mechanics. So our students who take AP Physics will more than likely take both of those tests, which you'll see some of the results in a few minutes. The same thing goes for our economics in the business courses. Students will take macroeconomics and microeconomics in the same year because the course runs that way. The only classes that don't have an AP exam is US History 1, so the students will not take a test until they take AP US 2 in their junior year. We also reintroduced Spanish last year, which was excellent for our students, and they performed very well. So just some myths about the AP program. AP courses are for students who only get good grades or who always get good grades, and that's not necessarily the case. They're for students who are academically prepared and motivated to take a college-level course. Our students can waive into an AP class. There are some AP courses that do not require students to be waived in, like AP Psychology. That's a class that students can choose to take if that's something that they're interested in. AP Art, for example, students who are passionate about art and want to design a portfolio, they often very much go into those classes. AP Seminar, which I spoke about, is also a class like that. Second myth is AP courses are too stressful. They are challenging, but at the same time, the support that's received from teachers and classmates can help students manage the workload. We have students that are taking 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 APs. For a student that chooses to take 5 APs in a year, we do meet with them and their parent just to make sure they understand what they're getting themselves into. They are few and far between, but those students who do that, again, do very, very well. But we just like to make sure that they are staying balanced and being able to get involved in either going to work or their activities, time to hang out with friends, because students in these courses do take everything so seriously, so we want to make sure that they're not stressing themselves out. Taking AP courses could hurt my GPA. All AP courses do receive AP weighting, so students sometimes are afraid of that. They'll go to honors instead because they don't want it to affect their weighting, but in reality, getting a B in an AP class or a C in an AP class is the same as getting an A or a B in an academic or an honors setting. So it really shows, for those that are looking to apply to colleges, it does show the student's level of commitment to their work. Another myth is I can't take an AP course because I was not recommended. As I mentioned before, if you think you're ready for an AP course, you do need to advocate for yourself. And I talk about that with the students when it comes to scheduling season. Talk to your teacher and your counselor. Sometimes, maybe it just wasn't a strong year for you, and that's okay. Sometimes, particularly in a math class, you might find that geometry is harder than algebra. And so, geometry just wasn't your thing, but Algebra 2 is. So that will help you get into that AP pre-calculus class. So those types of things, we really encourage the students to advocate for themselves, but also as parents. You know what your child is capable of, and that's a conversation you want to have with your child's guidance counselor. And then I don't think I will score high enough on an AP exam to get college credit. You don't need to score a 5, and that's a myth that people always think. Many colleges grant credit and or placement based on a 3 or higher. And what's nice is, and thank you to the Board of Education, we do reimburse students who score a 3 or higher on the exam. What I always tell students and our counselors tell students is make sure that you check with the colleges that you're applying to make sure that they do accept those college credits. They may accept them for that content, or they may accept them as general education credits, where it can really help you. We have so many students that go into their first year, sometimes as sophomores, which for parents, I know that helps out financially, but also gets students to where they want to go a little bit faster. So as students are going through the college application process, particularly now, or if you have a junior and you're starting to look at colleges, those are questions that you're going to want to ask when you go on your college visits. So those are just some AP myths versus the realities of the AP program. And if you really want to take a look at it on the AP website, you can actually go into the colleges and you can see by course what they accept and what they don't based on scores. So it does take some time, but it's definitely worth it as you go through the college process. So I have that link there, which we will post online, I believe, and you'll be able to see and click on. So how did we do in 2024, 2025? We offered 22 different AP exams. We introduced AP Spanish. We had 350 student tests. So we had, and you'll see there over the previous years, the number of tests that we had. We had a smaller population of students last year total in the school, but we had an average score of 3.93. And this represented the highest average score dating back to at least 1999. Those were the records that I could find being here, and went back and found a spreadsheet from 1999. So, kudos to our students for the outstanding job, averaging almost a 4.0 on all of the AP exams. And 21 of the 22 subjects averaged a 3 or higher, which is just remarkable. So if you look at it over the course of the years, you'll see that we had 186 students last year. We had 350 exams and 163 AP scores with a 3 or higher, which was 88% of our total AP students scoring a 3 or above. when you look at that number, it just speaks to the hard work of our students, the dedication of our staff, the commitment of our families in making sure that our students are prepared and doing what they need to do at home, making sure that they're doing okay. Kudos to our guidance counselors. And it really shows that the placement process that we use at PTHS is working. Our students are getting in the right spots to help them be successful. So in looking at some of our scores, our highest score, as I said, was a 3.93 dating back to 1999. 16 out of the 22 tests had a 100% passing rate. AP Calculus had an average score of 4.92, with 2 of the students averaging a 5 on the Calculus BC. Just think about that for a second, right? 4.92. That's all the students in that class. AP Physics averaged a 4.6. The national average is a 3.12. Mechanics was a 4.40. Pre-calculus averaged a 4.87 in our second year. And those students then feed into the AP Calculus class. So those students are currently sitting in AP Calculus right now. U.S. History had its highest average in the last 7 years with a 4.40. English Lit and Lang, again, really off the charts. Chemistry, which is historically an incredibly difficult exam, averaged a 4.0. And those are students who took chemistry, either honors chemistry as a sophomore and then took AP chemistry either as a junior or a senior. Our AP Environmental Science class had its highest average since the class began with a 3.9. AP Gov was 4.58. Micro and macroeconomics in our second year averaged a 3.7 and 3.6, which was outstanding. Psychology had its highest average score. Music theory continues to outperform the state and global test takers. And we outperformed the state and global test takers in 17 of the 22 subjects, which again is just a testament to our students. So we just recognized our AP scholars. So you look there, we had 6 more AP scholars this year than we did last year. And so just again, just a tremendous job from our students. When you look at the 25 AP scholars with distinctions, a 4.40 average, really just incredible. So this was us as we compared ourselves against the state and global. I just combined the English, math, science, and social studies scores. So you can kind of see just averaging, if I averaged environmental science, physics, biology, chemistry all together, we ended up with a 4.44. Math was all the math scores, 4.26, and so on and so forth. English was 4.44. Science was the environmental science, chemistry, biology with a 4.01. And then social studies was a 3.78. So in looking at that, it just shows how well we do here in Pequannock. And so what are our next steps? Well, first is to celebrate. It's sitting down with our students as we did tonight, but I've been talking with them about their test results in the hallway. The teachers have, meeting with the AP teachers to review detailed score reports, sitting down with them. Right now, Ms. Barbosa is our AP coordinator, so we've been talking with the AP teachers. We're going to be giving them time in professional development days for them to really talk about what they're seeing with the students, providing them with that data that's so important to push them a little bit further, and then looking at how AP exams correlate, or AP scores correlate to their final grades, making sure that students, their grades should reflect how they're doing on the test. One of the things that I really want to focus on this year is having the AP students visit PV school to talk about how to prepare for AP courses, because AP World History is the first course that they'll take here at PTHS. And sometimes that can be a shock when they walk in terms of the workload, the amount of reading, those types of things. So we're going to work hard at that this year. We do have our AP students go down to the elementaries and at the end of the year, and they do lessons with the kids. We're going to focus on PV in terms of doing some actual work examples with the kids that are being recommended into the AP classes so that they're aware of the type of workload they get, not just when they get the summer work, but well before that. And then finally, utilizing the AP Potential data for purposes of student scheduling. So what AP Potential does is it takes a look at all of our student performance data, and it gives us a list of what the students could potentially take as classes. So the kids that are currently in the AP program, how would they do if they wanted to take AP Lit? All right, and so it'll tell you this student should take the class, this student has been doing really well, they should take AP Calculus. All right, and those are conversations that our guidance counselors can have to show the students, hey, the AP college program is saying you can do this. They believe in you, we believe in you, you can do it. And so some students do take that data seriously, some they just need that chance to believe in themselves. And so that's our job, right? That's our job as administrators, that's our job as teachers, is to help students believe that they can be more than they thought was possible. And so congratulations to our AP students, congratulations to our AP teachers. Thank you to the Board of Education for your tremendous support. It really does make a difference for our kids when they go, because the first 2 weeks of May, they're incredibly stressful. But every kid that I talk to, when they go into the exam, they're showing confidence, and when they walk out of the exam, they're smiling. And that's what you want. You want kids going in, regardless of how they do, they give it their best. And that's all we can ever expect from our kids, is that they give us their very best when it matters most. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm certainly happy to answer them. But this is our AP program for the 2024-2025 school year.
Mr. Hazler, real quick. I noticed the 23-24 year, there was a spike, like 223, I think the number was. Do we know why it spiked and then it went back to like that 186 number-ish?
So it's really just the size of the classes. Right now we have our senior class is a little bit smaller. Our junior class this year is 185, which is kind of a bubble class. So it really depends on the number of students we have in the school. And then one of the things we're doing this year is we should see another increase this year is our allied health students didn't normally take AP exams. They took the Rutgers tests. And a lot of our seniors did not take the Rutgers tests for credit. And so that's an opportunity for us. So we have those students this year taking AP Bio. So those are another 18 or 19 students that are going to be taking the AP Bio exam for us, and which actually is to their benefit. Those students will, you often talk to colleges and they see that it's great that our students are taking Rutgers credits, but sometimes they miss out on those AP classes. And so it gives us an opportunity to provide that for them and gives them a chance to be challenged in that way. So we're hoping to see that. It's going to fluctuate from time to time just based on the sheer number of students we have in the building. So if it'll fluctuate, probably 15, 16 kids here and there throughout the
So it wasn't about an offering that was new and then removed or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, and really our AP program is based on student interest. So there's times where students will want to take AP seminar, but then they have 3 other AP classes, and because that's such a unique course, we only offer it once within our schedule, it makes it very hard to take. And so sometimes we just can't run the course. AP Art History is similar to that because there's such niche classes. We did have one student last year take AP Comparative Government on their own, and they just wanted to take the test, and they got a 3 on it, which was fantastic. So we do provide those opportunities as well for students who do want to take those types of exams. That student gave up their lunch period and actually worked in their study hall with Dr. O'Keefe. And so that was, those are some options that we do have for the kids if they want to pursue that in their senior year.
So scores are absolutely amazing. Thank you for that presentation. I'm incredibly, as always, proud of our students and how hard they work and how dedicated they are. I mean, obviously I have a student who is in AP classes and I see the rigor. I'm always impressed when I go back to school night to see the curriculum and to see everything that's going on. I do think it would be remiss if we did, and I'm not taking away from the students' credit or all the hard work that they had, but I do want to highlight that this is the highest average score since 1999, right? The 24-25 school year. That is also the first year that we implemented later school start times. So based off of all that data and all that research that was used, for the process of, having the later school start times, I mean, I think that can be a factor that helped our students. The more sleep they got, the changing in the schedule, I think we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge how much that has helped our students and can also be used as a data point in our own district gathering of how it has impacted our kids. But thank you for that amazing presentation.
Thank you. And we'll have some of that data for you, actually. I know Dr. Portis and I are talking about that with PV and the high school, talking about some data with that.
I mean, I think we can use it as, I'm still hopeful that the state will change every district to 8:30 based upon all the medical research. But I think that if we can continue to look at our own school start time and ways we can continue to add for the kids, that would be great. I understand the restrictions that we have, but this is another clear factor that's showing how impactful that extra 20 minutes does really help them.
Anybody else have any more questions? Mr. Hazel, thank you very much. Great
Thank you.
presentation. Mr. Gibbs, do you have a report?
Yes. Good evening. Tonight's board agenda, there is a motion for the approval for the acceptance of a non-public school grant in the amount of $20,505.25. The grant is for a Pequannock staff member to teach STEM at the Or Israel School of Bergen County. There is no cost to the school district for this service as it is a pass-through. On September 26th, the test holes for the septic were completed and samples sent out for testing for the new board office. The test for the oil tank was not done as there was a discovery that changed the manner of collecting test samples, and this will be discussed further at the work session portion of the meeting. On September 29th, the school district received an Oprah request for a complete list of school district's insurance policies. The request was completed on September 30th in accordance with state guidelines. On September 30th, I reached out to the post office to find out their intentions regarding the purchase of the property of the current board office, since there is such a large gap in appraisals of over $300,000. That too will be further discussed later on in the meeting. On October 3rd, the State of New Jersey School Development Authority, or SDA, authorized a grant in the amount of $1,162,200 for new HVAC units for the schools. The school district will have to spend $2.9 million in order to receive the grant money. The grant will be incorporated into future budgets over the next 3 years. And finally, if there is any board members that need to cancel their reservations to the New Jersey School Board Conference, to please let me know as soon as possible. Thank you.
Gordon, just a quick question, I'm sorry, I'm being difficult tonight. Oprah, we seem to be getting a lot of Oprahs again. Is that something that's going on throughout the districts? Because I know last year there was like an upheaval in districts' requests for Oprahs. Is it, I'm just curious.
It is normal, yeah. We do get quite a few, and other districts also get quite a few. It's just an ongoing thing.
A lot of the Oprah requests that we receive are actually from vendors, and they're looking for staff information so that they can send out emails with their information and try and apply their wares.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to our first opportunity for public comment. Members of the public may speak once for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during this portion of the meeting. The public may speak on any agenda item during their 5 minutes. If a member of the public has a question, the question should be directed to the board president. State your name and sign in before you begin.
Hello, Dave Vaselenko, Pequannock. This is big. I absolutely love this town we live in. I love the people in it. I'm blessed to call Pequannock my hometown. I'm very involved, as most of you know, and when you're involved with people, you find out all the good things that happen in town. You see all the good things shared on social medias. All the great things that people do, the community does, the kids do. You see all the good things, but you don't hear the concerns because people are afraid of the gossip, the finger pointing. It's not popular to post common concerns. And being that I talk to so many people, I hear a lot of the concerns. We understand in this matter that it's currently in a criminal matter. But I'm going to try to bring up some points that are not, because we know it can't be discussed because it is a criminal matter and it's a lawsuit, and no one wants to adjust that in any way or make bad things come out. Have we, as a district, as a board, considered any internal investigation into our policies regarding something like this? Have we addressed what's on paper that we follow that maybe we didn't follow through with? And I would recommend a third party come in and review it. Because what's in place now, it's not working, right? It's just not working. So we need to address the current policies you have and try to figure out what's not working, and if they are working, where did it fail? So I'd like to see some sort of internal audit of our policies around this matter to figure out what's not working right. I understand the board has an unwavering commitment to its students, but we need to see that more than ever. And a way to see that is not just to say that, you know, things that are happening, we support you. I get it. Everybody in the community supports. For those of you who were there on Saturday, I've been to many band competitions, and I've never seen a crowd like that before. So the community came out and said, you know what, band parents, band kids, Mr. Streifer, we support you. The roar of the crowd when that band came out and we were introduced at 9:30, the football team was there, the soccer team was there, lacrosse team was there. The community supports these kids in this program. And we just need a little bit more to show them from the board to say, I understand we support, we get it, but we need to see a little more. We want to see, hey, look, our policies may be lacking in this, we're going to adjust it. You know, maybe there was a failure somewhere that somebody didn't do that we'll look at it again. Like really hone it down to the parents. I'm a parent. My daughter went through these programs, and now I have to have these uncomfortable conversations with her because maybe something failed that we all need to address, right? These conversations are happening in many households in our community today, and they shouldn't be. So why are they? That's what I'm asking. Why are they? What could we be doing differently? Talking to a lot of people, you hear a lot of things, so I'm not going to say, as a matter of fact, other people have spoken up because I wasn't on the email, I wasn't part of the conversation. So I've heard through people saying that there's been many times that people reached out about concerns. If that's true, where did the process break down? Was every single complaint logged, escalated, and reviewed as per the school's policy? Can you share the policy number? Because a lot of people are asking, what's the policy? And I know they're online, but there may be a few policies that are approved that fall into this matter. So if you can share what policy numbers there are, we can look at them for themselves and kind of review along with you and make constructive comments. Hey, why don't we look at this? Why don't we adjust this? Or this is a concern. We don't understand it. Allow us to work with you to adjust the policies that need to be adjusted. Who and the policies that are in place, who is accountable for ensuring that the policies are implemented and followed and updated as needed? I'm talking local from the school to the district as a whole. Who's responsible for saying, if this is our policy, this is what's approved, did you follow the policy directly? Was the policy followed? If not, why was it not? And if you did and something happened, where do we need to fix it? What do we need to adjust? Right? This is a lesson learned from parents. A lot of parents, they want to make sure that the kids feel safe. When the parents drop their kids off, they feel safe. That we follow policies that puts our kids in a safe place where we don't have to worry about that. So we do, as a community, want to build from this. We want to take a lessons learned. We want to make it better. We want to make a safe environment for everybody. So that's a lot of what I'm hearing is how, who didn't, who did, what needs to be changed. Like, this is not we don't want to hear anything, we're finished with it. Learn from it. Let's all learn from it. Let's work on the policies together because transparency builds trust, but silence breaks it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg DeBeese, how you doing? Before I need to go off point for just about 20 seconds here. The data The data on the AP, Mr. Hazler, is outstanding. I think you thanked everyone except for one person, and that's yourself. This doesn't happen unless you create an environment that is fertile enough for the students and the faculty to make this kind of thing happen. So I think we should give you a round of applause. Okay, I come to you as a former president of the Chamber of Commerce, vice chair of the Economic Development Committee, Parks and Recs Committee, directed half the races in town, coached 50 teams, Citizen of the Year 2011. The point is, I care greatly about this town. And I have 2 points to make. One, I'm going to use my daughter Cadence as an example. A lot of you, most of you know that she was in a terrible car accident last year, almost took her life. And the support from this community was outstanding. Second to none. I'm still so thankful, and so is she. And she has made close to a full recovery, by the way. My point, thanks. My point in saying that is I think we have to start changing some of the narrative online and how we speak in regards to the family that was victimized by the situation. So I know from our experience when people talked about the person who caused Cadence's accident with venom, and it didn't help. All it did was make us relive it. So I would encourage everyone here, everyone in YouTube land, everyone online to just kind of think about that. We've been beating this around for a good week. Let's start changing the message and really support the family however we can. And part of that, I think, is not letting them relive every day some of the horrors that go along with this. I know that the discussions have to be made. Dave, excellent points. You may ask some of the hard questions that need to be asked, but we don't need to keep going down that negative path. Thank you. And my second point is, I understand last meeting there was a point made about a suggestion that we, going forward, only look to the outside of the community to replace the person who needs to be replaced. And I just want to make a counterpoint to that. I think we have an excellent community. We have excellent faculty here. We have many people in this town who are going to apply, many people who probably work in the high school and the other schools. They should at least be given an equal opportunity to anyone from the outside. So, am I right? Thank you. So I just ask that that is considered as we move forward. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Marissa Roberto. I'm coming here to speak more on behalf of the choir class that's currently going on. For those that don't know, my daughter Lana is a senior and she is intending to study music, specifically piano, in college. For the past 4 years, she has accompanied the choir as the piano accompanier, whatever the word is, for all of the concerts. Last week, when everything came forward about the situation, there are currently 7 seniors within the 3 choir classes. On Thursday, the 7 seniors started to develop their own group chat on how to lead the choir with the intention of performing for the Christmas concert. They were given 5 to 6 songs from the previous teacher to start learning, so they have material. My daughter's role had always been to play the piano for the songs that required the piano music, and then to sing with the choir when that was not her job. So and typically when in the class, her class, she would either be learning the music privately and then come in to transition in with the students once she was ready. The other classes were typically taught by the previous teacher with the music until Lana was able to kind of merge with all of them. So right now you have 7 seniors that are number one, looking at the 5 to 6 songs that they were given. They are talking amongst themselves on how to lead each class and which ones they are learning. And you also have my daughter, who is just beats to her own drum, and basically is trying to learn the music while also learning audition material for college and other things, which is completely fine, because she wants to try to make recordings so that the other classes will have the music as soon as possible so that the choir can be able to perform at Christmas. So and that's not to toot my daughter's own horn or anything like that. That's just to kind of let you know what the kids in these classes are trying to do to be able to perform. So my concern is just knowing how things work in the school district and time frame and just getting things approved, that as a Board of Ed, you guys maybe realize what's really going on within the everyday life of the classrooms. If, in all honesty, you don't think that the choir will be able to perform for the Christmas concert or do the performances that they typically do, which right now the sub, from what I understand in there, is just a sub, like anybody, it's not a music-directed sub, then I seriously think that you owe that to the students in the class to be forthcoming about that. And if you do think that that is something, which to me, whether she was a senior, junior, sophomore, or freshman, I think that that's really paramount to this district to make sure that they can perform, then I suggest you guys try to figure out some workaround ASAP to make sure that that is possible. Whether that means that Mr. Hazler and the guidance counselors or Mrs. Barbosa meet with these seniors and help get the seniors on board to make sure that this is going on, whether that means that, because there is an actual lesson plan that a sub can follow, but something needs to be done to make sure that this class isn't just like sitting ducks for the next 60 days while we're figuring out everything else. And I'm just asking you to be forthcoming with the students, because they are definitely, they definitely really look forward to that, and they take pride in that, and that's part of what makes the music program here excellent. So again, that's just something for you guys to know what's really going on in the classroom. And like I said, we're, to try to really give them some positive direction. I think it's very positive what they're trying to do, and I think that needs to be promoted. So I just wanted you guys to have an idea of what's actually going on every day.
Hello. So just to echo what the first gentleman said,
Can you just state your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Carrie Lispina. So my family loves this town. I was born and raised here, and then I'm raising my family here. So if others who have the same history as I do, they know this isn't the first teacher at the high school that has had this type of vile things done. I'm sorry, that has done these such vile things. And even worse than that, it was also a music teacher the last time that this happened, back in 2011, a little bit earlier than that. So I guess my question is, I understand background checks are always done prior to anyone being hiring in this school system, but what is being done with the school is, what is being done at the school to catch these behaviors once they are hired, right? Are more cameras the answer? Are aides in classrooms? We're a small town, It seems like this was going on for a little bit, quite a while from what I'm understanding, but I don't know what's true and what's not. But it seems like maybe people weren't as comfortable to come forward as maybe they should have been. Are safe places being put into action? I'm just wondering what is being put forward so people feel more comfortable speaking up. My kids are young, but I realize these changes and things to take action will take time. But I think that something's got to change.
Hi, Debbie DeAndre, live across the street. We have music in our family. I met my husband in band here. My kids went through band. I was a band parent, band vice president, We fought really hard for this music program. It was falling to the ground, and countless hours we spent in this room fighting for this program. So I am sorry to say that I am actually very angry that somebody has tarnished it. But I am here actually to talk about Anthony Streifer. Those of you who don't know him, I have never met anybody like him. I remember when he first started, and he was literally a kid, and he had an unbelievable nature with these kids. He has that ability to separate being a teacher and bonding with them. He has been their rock right now, and I'm really very nervous because I don't want to say anything to tarnish his name, but that man, he is everything to this music program. You don't understand how bad it was. And when that man got tenure, I don't know who was happier, him, me, or his own mother. Please keep that in mind. He has nothing to do with this. He just doesn't. So I feel somebody has to stand up for him. He right now is a rock for these kids, and he has a lot on his plate. So just please keep that in mind.
Good evening, Bill Chesney, 249 Boulevard. I think we're supposed to tell our address or what have you, but 10 years ago, I was in this room. I was on something called the Music Task Force, which helped bring Anthony Streifer here. Debbie just did a wonderful job, so I don't need to repeat what she just said to all of you regarding that guy, because you don't find a lot of him around anywhere, and the character that he has is immeasurable. But what I did want to bring up is, what can we do collectively? This isn't about pointing blame at any one person, any one body, anything. Collectively, we all failed. This happened because collectively, as a community, because you know what? We grow as a community. We have successes as a community, as Mr. Hazler brought up before. We do everything as a community. So when the community wins, we all win. When the community fails, we all fail. And somewhere along the way, as Dave Vasilenko brought up before, sorry if I'm not supposed to bring up a name, but I know him, he eloquently put that, this isn't the board's fault. This isn't teachers' fault. It's not another teacher's fault. We as parents, if it starts at the root, we as parents made a mistake here. Somehow, some way, we didn't see it coming. Are we supposed to? My 24-year-old who's down in Virginia, who had one heck of a successful music program here, and on top of that, a successful run as a student here, is asking himself, even though he only had the man for 2 years, what did I miss? How could I miss this? I believe we all need to do a better job of communicating, of opening up the lines and the lanes of communication, to where our students, whether they're 5 years old, whether they're 10, 15, 20, or a 30-year-old, or a parent, or an educator, that the lines of communication are better. Because this isn't something we can do better, try to do better. This is something we must do better as a collective group. And we need to lean upon each other. We need to be open to different ideas. We need to be open to what we don't agree with. We need to be open to what scares us. We need to be open to what eats at our inside, because this eats at my inside. Too many people that I know, too many people's kids that I know are just mortified and stricken over this. So we need to find the routes, and they might not be conventional. They might be a little unconventional. They might not be comfortable for all we who are. We all come from different political backgrounds and different faiths and everything else. But you know what? Collectively, I believe the answers are within us to either find or to bring to the table. People need to feel welcome at this podium. I know sometimes I wasn't 9, 10 years ago, but that's okay too. It's not about me. It's about what we do going forward. This happened. We can't rewrite what happened. but we can make sure that we do everything within our own collective powers, individually and together, to make sure this does not, cannot, will not, must not ever happen again. And please ask yourself not what, because our head's getting away. Our heart will lead us to so many answers. And my brother does motivational speaking. And what he always says, when you shoulda, woulda, coulda, you end up shooting all over yourself. We need to get away from that. We need to get away from our own limitations and make sure that, because collectively there's nothing we can't do as a collective group. We can make this happen to where this doesn't happen again, to where the kids feel protected, to where adults feel protected, to where they can come forward. That arena, that avenue needs to be there. And if one person feels one bit hesitant, that means it's not there. If there are people who wanted to speak here tonight, that means they don't feel welcome. No matter, you might be doing 100% right, but if the perception is that they're going to feel admonished or a little bit scared to come here, that means we've done something wrong. That means they feel the feedback they're going to get, the feedback that, might be just a fear of public speaking. I hope that there's people listening tonight to what everybody's said. Because again, the people that aren't here might be your answers. The people that are here might be your answers. I don't know. None of us are supposed to know a week later what exactly needs to be done. But action needs to be taken. It needs to be taken immediately, and then it needs to be implemented with everybody's blessing that, hey, we're going to make some mistakes, but what we can't do is be afraid to make them. We need to do everything within our human power, individually and collectively, to make sure this is never going to happen again in any of our lifetimes. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Justine O'Brien, 30 William Street. I apologize for my appearance. I was watching live through the YouTube stream and just felt compelled to come. I do have to say, the leadership here, I don't envy you, but I commend you because as a school teacher myself, as somebody who has two family members that work within the district, and I've talked about how difficult this is, I couldn't understand where you guys are coming from. Administration, board, superintendent, it's really tough. I will say, I do appreciate, I know we've talked and I've listened how some people feel that the communication was quick, some people feel that communication could have been faster. Working in multiple districts so far, you guys got the message out very quickly. You guys got it across right after the Morris County Prosecutor's Office got it across. So that's something as an educator where I've worked in a district where they haven't done that. I really, thank you and commend you. I will say I'm really big on school community. I didn't grow up in this town. I did graduate from here in 2010. I loved the town once I finally accepted moving here. As a teenager, it's never easy moving to a new school. But school community is like the biggest thing that you can have. And my father, who's a teacher here in the high school, is currently going through the alternate route program. And he's talking about, what can I do as a school leadership? That's one of the classes he's taking right now. And he's talking about, how can I boost morale? And that's really tough, right? In your situation here, in our situation here. The best way to do it is talk with the kids and talk with the teachers. They are the ones that are here every day, day in, day out. And you have a really great principal here. You have a really great vice principal here. You have a great athletic director. You have people here that are willing to listen to see what can we do to better the morale overall. Listen to them because they are the ones that are here day in and day out, and they're the ones that are continuing to be here for our children. So thank you for all that you've done. Please keep the communication open like you have, and just listen to our students and our teachers. Thank you.
Janelle McGowan. I did speak on Thursday night, and I'm just going to repeat what I said Thursday night. Good evening, Dr. Portis and members of the board. As a proud taxpayer and a mother whose daughter is deeply passionate and involved in our school's music department, I come before you with a heavy heart but hopeful spirit. Music is not just an extracurricular activity, it's a lifeline for so many of our children and a source of joy, creativity, and community. I ask you, will the cherished a cappella group continue this year? I'm just going to add on more about the winter concert. We need to know, these kids need to know, especially the seniors, will we have that winter concert that we bring the community together? Are we going to have a spring musical? And we may not have those answers about that spring musical, but I think we need to have answers for a cappella since it does start in November, and also the holiday concert that we have begins very shortly as well. But most importantly, I want to address the leadership of our music program moving forward. If there is going to be a search for new candidates, I urge you to consider hiring someone who's not have worked under Bill Arnold this past year or ever. Our children, our families, and our community deserve a fresh start, new energy, new ideas, and a renewed commitment to the excellence that's free from the past influences. Thank you for your time and your understanding and for standing with us to please save the music.
John Martin, Pompton Plains. I think everybody here today was pretty rightfully floored when we saw the announcement last week about the indictment. I know I was. You know, I have kids coming into high school, and when you're having people, you know, try out for choir or the noctives, some of those activities, and to find out something was happening, you know, it really shakes everybody to the core, everybody. And, you know, I think we're all trying to figure out a way to, you know, in this district and everywhere else where this just keeps happening and happening and happening, how to stop things like this from happening. And my question is, in looking at the policies in this district and everywhere else, because Pequannock is, you know, pulling its policies from, you know, a lot of the people, whether it's New Jersey school boards or, you know, any of the Strauss Esme or anyone else who's developing these policies. I didn't see anything about like a one-to-one policy on, or no one-to-one policy in extracurricular activities. And if you've ever volunteered as a coach or anything, you know, for your kids, that's something that's always out there, whether it's, they're saying, nobody should be one-to-one with a kid. An adult and a kid should never be one-to-one together. And that's pretty well universally adopted when you ever, you know, volunteer as a coach and have to sign up for all this training. I don't know if that's something in the school universe, if that's impossible, because you're talking about salaries, you're talking about people who are doing this every single day, but I don't know if that's something that can be looked at here and across the state to see if you can eliminate or at least reduce as much as possible one-to-one activity for a teacher and a student in an extracurricular activity to try to stop this from happening. I saw a lot of the policies, you know, that were enacted in 2014 after they changed statutes prohibiting electronic communication. You know, obviously, that's only as well and good as it can be enforced, and that's pretty difficult if you can't monitor everything every single day. So I understand that's going to be a huge problem, but if you can, you know, reduce the one-to-one contact, you know, maybe that's something that can, you know, stop these situations from developing in the future. Like I said, I don't know. It's obviously not a Pequannock-specific issue, but if it's something that can be looked at here statewide to figure out, how we can stop these incidents from happening over and over again, because it's scary out there for everybody. It's scary out there for parents, sending your kids out to know that this can keep happening. And, to have it in your town, to read it in the news, whether it's your church, whether it's your school, whether it's a sports organization, an outside club, every time you see this, it really, really shakes you to the core. So, I think it's really difficult to, second guess because it seems like everything that I've read, this was reported, I guess according to, the affidavit of probable cause that I was reading about in the paper, that this was reported, escalated, the school contacted the police. Everything in that respect seems to, have happened appropriately. And I guess it's the only thing I could think to say is if we're going to try to stop these things from happening going forward, would be to try to limit the way that one rogue individual can have access to these people without being seen. And, I'm sure that's something that's going to be talked about here, and I would think it's being talked about elsewhere. I hope it gets talked about statewide and in these and whether it's a school board's conference or state committees when superintendents get together, and if it's a situation of resources and people who need to get paid, or obviously that's something that we just want to see the best that our kids are protected. And if they can't be protected when they're going to school, that's just scary. I think you guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate you guys dealing with the situation. It makes me sick to my stomach just thinking about it, and I can't imagine where it is from where you're sitting. Thank you.
Would anyone like to come up? Anybody else? Okay, so before I give the mic to Dr. Portis, just to respond to Mr. Vassilenko, we have looked at the policy. We have looked at and discussed potentially bringing in a third party to do an audit to make sure that if there are changes that need to be made, that we will make them. We're in the beginning stages of that. And that's all I have for me. I'll pass it over to Dr. Portis if you'd like to respond to anything.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Sanik. And thank you to all the members of the public, not only who spoke, but also those who supported those who spoke. The podium's a very lonely place, and you're talking about some very heavy things. And I think everybody in this room has enough knowledge of me to know I don't glad hand anybody, and I'm really impressed. And if any of my answers or responses fall short, please reach out to me. I've had conversations with several of the people who were up here, and those conversations are going to continue. And did my best to jot down as much, because if you took the time to prepare, at least I could do is take the time and jot it down. So I'm going to do my best. There are certain things that obviously I can't really address. I'd rather have you think that I was an idiot than for me to do anything that would imperil the criminal investigation. Justice has to be served. It's more important than my reputation or anything of that sort. So I want to make sure that I should get that out, but I'll give you the best that I can. And to Mr. Senik's point, to Mr. Vassilenko's questions, yeah, we are looking at our own policies. And yeah, they are more or less universal across the state, but that doesn't mean we can't add our own input into it. And this experience, to use somebody else's terminology, definitely has shaken us to our core. And we can't change what happened, but we can certainly change what we do moving forward. And so it was very powerful, and maybe I'm weaving through things, but to hear Ms. Laspina speak. That's one of my former students there, and I heard her speak incredibly eloquently about her concerns for her kids. That's who we work for. That's our commitment. And so, in terms of the accountability, I mean, a lot of it falls, in terms of accountability for the policies, a lot of it falls on the board, but a lot of it falls on me as well. And I want to be a critical component of that process. And I'll jump ahead to what Mr. Martin was talking about, too. I spoke with a few of my colleagues from other districts in the state who dealt with similar type situations. And what you're talking about is why aren't we having conversations about how to implement stronger things at the state level and also to influence policy. I'm more than willing to put myself out there as a superintendent from a district that's enduring this. And if I can help other districts as well as our own to determine ways to prevent this from ever happening, that has to be the goal. Because we don't just work for our kids, we work for all kids. So in terms of transparency, you want to be as transparent as you can. And as far as the conversations about policy, to get back to the initial comment, this is big. And yeah, we want to make sure that we're addressing it, and we're in that situation right now. We're trying so hard to look forward, but we also have to look back and make sure that this history is never repeated and there's nothing close to it. Second speaker, I want to thank Mr. DeBeese also for his comments about Mr. Hazler. I think that's really important. And he didn't give himself any credit. And that was the one mistake I would say he had in that presentation. In terms of the community support, it's something that's really impressed me throughout my years. I came to Pequannock back in 2007, and it's impressed me throughout my time here. And it's not going to ever fail us. We're seeing it right now. To get back to that turnout at the band competition, it was visceral. Like, you could feel the support. It was loud. It was positive. It was so many members of the community were represented, and that's what we do, and we do it really well. As far as the position, we're going to look to staff it with the best people we can find, and given the precarious given where we are right now for addressing the students' needs, we're going to try to find someone who fits that as ideally as possible. Because we're trying to reconstruct, not even reconstruct, we're going to build a program that works not just with the kids we have right now, but the kids we know we're going to have, as well as the families. So this is one that we're incredibly focused on. And to the point about the holiday show as well as the spring concert, I've learned never to promise anything for which there are variables other than myself, but I'm going to tell you this: there will be a holiday concert. I don't care if I'm directing it. There will be a holiday concert. I think it's the first time anybody's ever clapped for me at one of these, so thank you for that. And the spring musical as well. And we have, thank you. I wasn't fishing for that, but thank you. But these things, I mean, it's a line from Shakespeare: the show must go on, and it must. And something that Mrs. McGowan talked about, and I was actually talking to one of the parents at the show on Saturday night about how I didn't understand. I was a teacher for 10 years before I came to this school. I also was a teacher, and I didn't understand how important the band was. I didn't understand how intrinsically linked students' identities it was, how this is something that they could point to and say, I'm really good at this, and this makes me feel good, and I like coming to school because I'm a part of this. And the vocal music and the theater are no different. And so we have to make sure that our students who are feeling this in ways that I can't even imagine, that they have something that they can connect to that brings them together and gives them that opportunity to express themselves and feel once again that they are part of something incredibly important. I mean, I think we all want to feel a part of something bigger than ourselves. So yes, we are focused on making sure that we have not only a stopgap to carry us in the meantime, but also long-term to be able to come back bigger and better than we ever were. And then the next one was Ms. Laspina. We do conduct, I mean, you acknowledge we conduct the background checks, and for the monitoring, it's so important, you know, if there are any concerns about staff or just anybody, please report them, because we do follow up on everything, and we don't announce it and say, well, you know, we did a follow-up investigation with so-and-so, and this is what was determined and what was resolved. But please, 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 the doors are open. We listen, we follow through on things. It's critically important. We don't have a ton of administrators in the building, but we have a lot of eyes and ears in the building, and those eyes and ears can really contribute a lot. So I just want to put that out there again, because it's really important. And yeah, I think our commitment has to be to make sure that nothing of this sort ever happens ever again to any of our kids, or really anybody else's kids. I appreciate too, Ms. DeAndre, I hope I said your last name correctly, just about fighting for the music program. It's hard for people to believe. You know, you walk into this auditorium, you see a trophy that's like 17 feet tall. That's our program right now. And I'm not allowed to speak about staff members unless they've received a Rice notice, but everything you said about Mr. Streifer, I think I'm allowed to say true. Yes, absolutely. Was that okay? The attorney approves, all right. And actually, I try not to let my emotions or responses show through as I'm writing. Thankfully, the camera's very far away. But when you mentioned his mother, I smiled too. I met his mother on Saturday night, and she's awesome, and she is, and she's so proud of him, and she has every reason to be. And I have to say, I don't know, as a person, I was so proud, and it's really meaningful. So thank you for that. And then for Mr. Chesney, thank you so much too. And such a positive message, such a strong message, and you were part of that music task force as well. And if you can take credit for being part of bringing Mr. Streifer in, I don't know if I'm allowed to also thank you for that, but I thank you for that, because we've seen how that program has grown and how much it means to our kids and our community. As far as what can we do collectively, yeah, not doing blame, doing solutions. We have to root out and find out what was the cause for this. How did we end up in this place? But the most important thing I do believe is, yeah, to figure out what did we miss and how can we make sure we never miss it again. And when you talk about keeping lines of communication open, that's so critical, because we're a fairly small district, and I think there's a tremendous blessing to that, that it's so easy to reach us. And when I say that you can reach out to me about things, please do. I'm actually in the process of figuring out how to disable the do not reply function on my updates, so people can actually, if you've ever replied to those and not gotten a response, it's because I really don't get them. But I'm figuring out that too, which I know sounds pathetic. I mean, it's easy technology, but please know that we're here to work together. I mean, and that will never change. If that changes, I think I need to find new employment. But it's important, yeah, to keep establishing the routes to find the answers, make everybody feel welcome. I think that's really important. Mr. Chesney had a line I actually wrote down verbatim: collectively, there's nothing we can't do. That's true. And with that mindset and that spirit, we are going to carry through. And for those who might be tuning in, I agree as well. You might have answers that I don't. I've been in education 29 years, and if I was to sit here and tell you I have every answer, I'd be a bald-faced liar. Every great thinker throughout history has had one shared attribute, and that's that they don't know it all. So I think the collective mind can certainly help us. To Ms. O'Brien, thank you also for coming in. No one judged your attire, so that you're aware of that. You were here to share an important message. And thank you for your appreciation for the leadership. I will say this, that communication I've received has been so inspiring, and sometimes it's hard to find strength. And then other people give it to you. And they don't have to. And if somebody tells you, I prayed for you yesterday, we feel it. And it's why I'm so proud to be a part of this community. Obviously, I don't live here, but there's something special. Things hit different in Pequannock. And so to know that despite everything that we're enduring, that there's this incredible source of strength. It's the people in this room. It's the people outside this room. Thank you. And it was even nice yesterday. I was talking to my parents, and they kind of tentative asking, "How's everything going?" These people are incredible, and that meant a lot to them. And yesterday was my dad's birthday, and I guess that was your birthday present to Steve Portis. So thank you for that. And now I'm going to try to compose myself better. I apologize for that. I think the message just about how much music means to our kids, it definitely bears repeating. It's not just an extracurricular activity. Like it's a source of pride, it's a source of identity, and it has to continue. And then to use Mr. Martin's terminology too, rightfully floored by the news of the indictment, and we followed protocol as you're supposed to. But in terms of what can we do, we're going to find that out. And something that I know Mr. McSweeney's already on is making sure that we're looking into our policies to determine how they can have greater strength, and also support our admin team so they understand what they can do and how we can enforce things, and really look for ways to improve our communication. And something that you said as you were wrapping up, and it really sticks with me, is just want to protect kids. And that's something that is so incredibly important, because they're our everything. And so if there's anything I didn't cover, please reach out to me. Check email probably more frequently than I should, but it's a really important communication channel. If something requires a phone call, I'll give you a call as well. And I'm going to thank you again, because what you had to say tonight was really important, and it's a really important step in the process. And thank you for allowing me to respond. Thank you to the board for allowing me to respond as well. So much appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Portis. At this point, before we move the action items, I'd like to get a motion to go into executive session where we will discuss personnel matters and attorney-client privileged information. The executive session will last approximately 30 minutes. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into exec.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll be back.
The Board of Education will be heading into an executive session. All matters that are discussed in executive session are confidential under the Open Public Meetings Act, under attorney-client privilege and personnel. As Mr. Senek stated, it will be for approximately 30 minutes. No action will be taken. Thank you.
back. I'd like to make a motion to resume the meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this takes us into the approval of the action items. Up first is PMC. I'm going to ask Ms. Shenton to please move the items under PMC.
I would like to move PMC 65-26 through PMC 73-26.
Second.
Gitten second. Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Ms. Zakeo?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
And Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next up is CIS. I'm going to ask Ms. Esposito to please move the items under CIS.
I'd like to move CIS 28-26 through 34-26. Thank you. I don't know what I said.
Second.
Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Ms. Zakeo?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
And Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, up next is FFA. Mr. Bloomer, would you please move the items under FFA?
I'd like to make a motion to move FFA 48-26 through FFA 52-26. Second.
Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Ms. Zakeo?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton?
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
And Mr. Senek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, that brings us into our workshop items. First up is PMC, and there are 3 items to discuss: the administrative goals for next year, staffing update, and PV and PTHS schedules in the second year.
Thank you. I'm just going to get to that. So as far as the administrative goals, something that we've made a point of doing for the past few years is to align our district goals to the strategic plan, and then take it one step further by aligning the administrator goals with those district goals. This way, it gives the real feel that we're pulling together in a shared direction, one that was established during the district goal establishment process. It continues through the annual goals. The state has changed the parameters for administrator goals. They're treated the same now as SGOs, where a tenured administrator does not need to submit goals. They can simply recycle what they had the previous year. If they would like to establish new goals for this year, and this again is for tenured staff only, they have the option of letting me know. They have to do so by September 30th, and then they submit them by October 30th, they get approved, and then they count for this school year. So just a quick summary. I did put a document in backup. I was pretty late adding it in, but it covers the more or less boilerplate items that I gave to the administrative team, so that they don't have to go digging too deep to figure out, okay, this aligns with this goal. So I give them the language as well as the numbers, and they have flexibility to work within those parameters. The first goal focuses on the Portrait of a Graduate initiative, and simply enough, the administrator is tasked with not only helping make sure that, all the steps and all the action steps in the goal are met, but also that they find a way to exceed that, to achieve the 4, which is the exemplary score. Second goal focuses on data analysis, lesson plan studies, and ongoing feedback with staff to help our staff feel a greater degree of autonomy with their ability to generate meaningful student learning data and act upon it. Much as I said with the profile of a graduate, the administrators have to make sure that they achieve all the steps. That gets them the 3, and then the 4, which is exemplary, means that they're going beyond what's in there. The third possibility for them is to be part of the communication goal, and this is a very important one. And so, again, they would make sure that they're helping us hit all 10 steps on that district goal, and then if they find a way to go above and beyond it, they can get that score of a 4. Something that could be beyond, could be if they help to develop some brand identity guidelines, which is something that we had said we were going to do a rough sketch, but if they come up with something more finite for it, that could push them over to that next level. And then we have a couple other goals. One is that by the 30th of May, 2026, teachers in the content areas of math, science, ELA, and social studies will apply data to identify student needs, then modify instruction both to address priority standards and to promote measurable student outcome. That's hugely important, but the administrator is responsible for leading data meetings with those staff members to ensure that they're gathering the data, that they're applying it, and that they're able to track student growth. And that's really important. And Ms. Vanskoll will talk about it at the October 27th meeting when she presents on the state student performance reports, actually not student performance reports, really the state assessments. But we're not just focused on whether students pass the assessments, but also if they're showing growth. It's possible that a student might not reach the level of passing it, but if they're showing growth, especially when compared against peers statewide, that's really important as well. And so it gives us a chance to identify success in multiple ways. Finally, the last of those goals is a walkthroughs goal. The greater visibility you have, the greater impact you as an administrator can have on instruction. And so we encourage our administrators to conduct walkthroughs, gather data, and also provide teachers with just quick feedback. And it could be, hey, loved how I saw the kids generating their own questions. How'd you get into that point? Gives teacher a chance to brag. Or it's, when you're asking these questions, you think about maybe this as well. So it's more informal than a regular observation, and it gives us a chance to have hopefully great ongoing conversations. But those are the 5 goals that I wrote, for which I wrote narratives for the administrative team. They can also find things that are directly connected to state assessments or other assessment tools as well. So we want them to have some flexibility within that. Any questions or comments from the board? I realize it's admittedly not the most exciting topic, but it is one that I think is very important. The second one, I like to incorporate staffing updates into these workshop meetings. I'm very excited. We had a Spanish teacher begin at the high school today. She had been hired over the summer, but her previous district had held her to her 60-day requirement. Of course, we honored that. We have no choice to, but she began today, so we're very excited. We appreciate how our Spanish teachers, not only in this school, but also from the middle school, helped chip in to carry the students to this point. We also have a posting online for a position that's currently listed as a leave replacement. That's per requirements, but we are going to look to move that to being a full-time position, and this involves our music program. And we're going to look into hiring the best possible candidate for that one. I think that's a very, very important one to list. Otherwise, our staffing is going well. It tends to be something fluid as we have people going out on leaves of absence, but we will continue to fill those with the best possible candidates. And what I like, when somebody's here as part of a leave replacement, they're getting an audition, essentially, to show that they have great ability, that they work well with not only the kids, but also with their colleagues. And so if somebody goes out for a reason, whether it's maternity or any other reason, we look to fill it the best candidate available, and then look to possibly have them become part of our staff long-term. Finally, and this one I open up to the board, I know Ms. Esposito spoke a little bit in favor of the PTHS schedules, but last year was a pretty heavy lift, getting those new schedules into place at both the middle school and the high school. And I'm proud of the work that we did as a board, that we did as an administrative team, as we did at the committee level, getting a lot of input from throughout the community. But I'm interested to hear from the board what you've heard thus far about any feedback on the schedules, and whether the PV, the start and end time didn't change, but the structure of the day did, and then the high school obviously was a really significant change. So I just open that up for any input that you want to share, and then I'll be able to present a more thorough report on what I've gotten from the admin team and teachers as well.
Nothing but positive feedback for the PV schedule, especially the Panther period.
Usually I get a lot of, when the community talks to me, it's usually because of something negative, but when it comes to our PV schedules and our PTHS school start time, I've heard nothing but positives from parents, but especially from the kids. I know the kids really appreciate it, and I'm going to again echo, I know how hard our kids work in all of our classes, but I think the fact that we did so much better on AP scores could be a good data point for school start times, and the fact that that correlates with all of the research that we've seen. So I only hear really positive things from our kids and the community about the school start time and the schedule. So we appreciate all of the hard work that went into that.
Appreciate that. And if more things come up too, I mean, obviously we have a lot of conversations, but just let me know, because I'd like to be able to provide a little bit of input too. But I don't know if it's causal or correlational about the start time, but that's some pretty powerful data that we were able to have. Yes, there are other variables in the equation, but that we did have that rather seismic improvement in our scores. And they were already on an upward trajectory, and then they further went up. And I've spoken about how I enjoy engaged in conversations with peers from other districts. Something that we learned from the pandemic response was that it doesn't serve you terribly well to be balkanized into 590 different districts. It really helps if you connect with your colleagues. And if somebody from another district wants to talk to me or any of us about the process of implementing a new start time, I mean, I'm certainly open to that. And I think if you have data to support it, it makes it much more compelling. We saw news articles about places that tried to rush it into place in August, and they got really significant pushback from their communities. It's something we took 2 years to plan it and map it out before we implemented it.
Absolutely. Maybe something we could think of in the future is having admin or somebody present at New Jersey school boards, because I know, we did as a board when we were at school boards. We attended a lot of workshops in terms of school start times. That was something that we really felt strongly about. And the best information that we received was when districts presented the improvements the academic improvements that their kids made, but not only the academic, but like their social emotional well-being. And I know that we've talked in the past about attendance and tardies, and students I think the data was presented that not as many students failed classes last year. So I think maybe at one point we could even present that or have students go down. That might be something that we could look forward to doing, because it is impressive what was done, and not many other districts also, I think, went to the lengths that we did to involve the community, to get feedback, and the process to ensure it was successful. And I know, I mean, I can tell you with having a kid who started high school and it started at 7:29 versus a kid who now has to go at 8:06, those 30 minutes are very beneficial for everyone in the household.
Yeah, and I just have some very preliminary disciplinary data from the high school, but they've seen a 25% decrease in detentions and 21% decrease in students who've received detentions, and overall 44% decrease in Saturday detentions, and 66% decrease in number of students involved in suspension incidents. And that's really important, because you want to see that ripple effect, not just through limiting tardies, but also throughout the day, and more positive behaviors. And I mentioned the tardies, and we didn't see that much of a change at the high school as we'd expected, but we saw it decrease by 16.4% at the middle school. That was with the introduction of the homeroom. They also saw chronic absenteeism drop from 7.5 to 4.4. That's really, really impressive. They saw a decrease in in-school and out-of-school suspensions. And something that Mr. Sobrowski shared too was about how they saw they saw growth across the board in their academic areas on state assessments, and that he credits the decrease in the number of HIBs to the fact that Ms. Prashak's been able to get into Panther periods and conduct lessons and be very proactive in managing the character education portion of our educational program in that Panther period. And also that, last thing I'll mention of this is the library rotation that's gotten integrated into the wellness period. We've used that to help students develop a better sense of their online, which we think is critical to mental health, but their online engagements, behaviors, and media specialists cover topics ranging from AI to research tools and internet safety, but also to academic integrity. So we're finding ways to reach kids on important topics with that 44-minute block at the end of the day. So appreciate the board's trust in us to be able to implement this, and let's keep the feedback coming.
All right, moving on to CIS, 4 topics to discuss. Testing, adaptive field test preparation, the K through 3 universal screening, the EdTech Summit, and the significant disproportionality between training and resources with the Magnolia Consulting.
That's a mouthful, right? Okay, so I won't be too long. So the new NJSLA and NJGPA adaptive tests, we have field tests coming up. Basically, we've had several administrators go through the online training with the state, got as much information as we could, just got access to the platforms last week so we could start to upload all of our data so that we can actually be prepared for the assessments. The field tests, we're going to run them the week of November 10th for all the schools. There's a varied schedule, and the principals will send that out closer to November as to which schools are doing which days. There are basically 3 units, 1 unit for ELA of reading, which will be 60 minutes, 1 unit of math, which will be 60 minutes, and then 1 writing task, which they have up to 120 minutes. So we'll be looking to do ELA and math on one day and writing on the second day. So all the schools will have a similar schedule. It's just depending upon which days the principals are working out the details for their schedules.
I'm sorry, do we know how early we'll receive the results of
We will
those?
not get any results from the field test. It is purely
Just
for the
the field
purpose of them testing the platforms and the test items and the efficiency and efficacy of that. Whatever results they have, they're not sharing back to the districts.
That's fantastic. Thank
And
you.
it's a static test for the field test, not adaptive. So basically, remember Start Strong when the students took the prior year's assessment? So a 9th grader would take the 8th grade assessment. That's what's happening here, which is why we have students testing from grades 4 through grades 12. The 12th graders that will be taking assessment, it depends on the math course they had last year. So if they had Algebra 1, 9 through 12, Algebra 1, Geometry, or Algebra 2, they'll take that assessment for 60 minutes. Our 11th graders who will take the NJGPA this year, they'll take the English, an English assessment that would be based on 9th and 10th grade language arts. So it's similar to Start Strong is how, as I've been going through this process, that seems to be what they're doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on that? And I did send out a parent letter. All the principals sent it out in the Friday update. So as we get more information, we'll share it out. K-3 universal screening. So very important. There's a new, as we mentioned before, there's a new requirement in the state that all districts in the state are required to do K-3 universal screening in early literacy, which everybody should do anyway, but now the requirement is added that we're required to send out parent reports within 30 days of the students receiving the assessments. So parents can expect these first reports with dibbles coming home on Friday. They should be in Friday's backpack meal for K-3 students. We're having a parent information session tomorrow night to go over how to read and interpret the reports and basically the overall process of the universal screening for this, what the reports mean and what they don't mean. We want to make sure that everybody understands, while there might be some data on the parent reports, they'll be color-coded. So you have blue for a little bit above grade level. Green is like on grade level. Yellow is strategic, and red is more intensive. But just because there might be red on a report isn't necessarily a cause for alarm. It's a cause to say, okay, this is an area where we realize your student might need some more support, and this is what we're going to be doing in the classroom to help support them and to move them forward. Then we do another benchmark in January, February. We'll send another report. Our goal is to have the progress show on those. So we just want to make sure that the parents are aware that we're having this information session. And then also our ELA supervisor, Ms. Bellardino, will be having office hours in addition to that, so that parents can reach out if they have questions, as well as the teachers and the principals. Everybody's aware of the conversations that might need to be had.
And to add on that too, Ms. Bellardino and I are going to be doing a podcast probably about a week and a half or so. She wanted to have an opportunity first for people to get the paperwork, as well as to be able to attend the Parent University that's coming up tomorrow at Hillview. And just to build on stuff, when Mrs. Vanskel and I were preparing for this too, we were talking about how parents are going to be seeing red. And I don't know if the pun was intended, but when people see low performance outcomes on a report involving their children, you tend to see red, which I mean euphemistically, but also see red literally. These are grade level standards, and so we don't expect them to be performing at grade level standard in September. That's something we have to make sure when we drop them off in June that they're there. We hopefully get them there, plan to get them there beforehand. But I just want to put it out there that if any parent receives it, you just consider it as a child's not doing well. Okay, we got this, and then we reach out to the people who can best articulate responses. Your teachers, Bellardino, principals, and probably you as well.
Yep, happy to talk to anyone. And lastly, we're going to also do recording of the parent information so that we can post it on the website for people to get it. At Tech Summit, we're super excited about the EP we have coming up next Monday. We have a lot of workshops. There is a lot of tech, AI tech. We have a keynote speaker, Melissa Heike. She's actually in West Morris. She's in their school district. She's done a phenomenal AI presentation that I attended at a different session, and now we have her coming to do it for us, as well as she will be leading a few workshops. But we have a lot of teachers and administrators doing different presentations throughout the day as well. So we'll have a keynote. We'll have 4 45-minute sessions where teachers can choose what they want to go to, and then we're going to end the day with a fabulous New Jersey NJSLA training for all of our staff members. So we are excited about that. And I'm sure I'll report on some of the workshops that we did following that. Any questions on Ed Tech Summit? And finally, significant disproportionality. You already voted on an action item on this where we are contracting with Magnolia Consulting to support us through our significant disproportionality situation that we're working through this year. We have 6 administrators going to a training on October 16th with the state. We'll be going to 3 different trainings on this, and Magnolia Consulting will be working with us, basically, and long story short, to do root cause analysis. They'll be working on this with us through our INRS process for academic and behavioral information, which is a great opportunity for us to kind of review and find some consistent procedures through all our buildings, and with reporting that we have to do for the state with gathering data and information that's due in April.
All right, thank you. All right, next up is FFA, and there's 4 items there. Update on the new board office, on the sale of the existing board office, moving the dumpsters at SJG, and then replacement of the tennis courts at PTHS.
Yes, as I previously mentioned in my business administrator's report, the testing for the tanks in the back of the 494 Newark Pumpkin Turnpike property was completed. We're still waiting for the test results. The front tank that has oil, may have oil in it, was discovered at the same time. Evidently, there's an intake and outtake to that tank, and they're both sealed off together, which is strange. So they're suggesting that we, instead of drilling 4 holes on the outside perimeter of the tank, to dig alongside the tank deep enough where we can actually get a probe under the tank to see if there's a leak. Today, I just got the positive response that the owner is willing to let us do that, and that's going to be taken care of this Friday. Any questions on that? No? The second item I had is update on the sale of the board office property. As you know, we had an appraisal done on the property. It came out at $805,000. The post office did their appraisal, and it came in at $550,000. Once I got that appraisal from them, I forwarded it on to our appraiser, who was not happy with their appraisal because their appraisal was based on personal property, not commercial. So I rejected their appraisal, and I told them we need a new appraisal. So I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm sure they're probably working on that. Are there any questions, though? No? Okay. Okay.
I said I have so many questions, but not at this time. I mean, it's an acre, right? $550,000 for, it's got to be close to an acre.
No, it's not that big, but,
Still, though.
yeah,
Half an
there is a
acre?
difference between commercial and personal property, definitely.
Sure,
Value,
okay.
yeah. Okay. Just to give you an update on the dumpsters we talked about at the last board meeting at SJG. We're looking to move them onto the other side of the building, which would be away from the playground and away from the lunch area. The cost to do that will come in at $12,200, not including the fence. We're still working on the quote for the fence. If the board still wants to move forward with that, it will be on the next board agenda for approval. I'm not looking for a vote, just a consensus that through FFA that it'll be okay, and I'll put that out this week.
I mean, can I just go and push him out of the way and move him? I know, it's like a silly question, but $12,000 to move the dumpsters, I think that's...
It's not just moving them, it's actually putting in a new platform. It's raising certain areas so that the platforms can come off the new area smoother. It's a full process.
Can you give us a summary of like a little write-up of what's involved with it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Did we look at more than one company? I mean,
Well, that was being done through the co-op.
Okay.
Yeah, we can get more quotes if you feel that's not acceptable.
no, listen, I don't really, I mean, when you say like we're moving a dumpster, I'm just thinking that's not $12,000, but when you say we have to put a new, we have to put a new basin or something like that, that would be understandable. So if you could give us that summary, that would be fantastic. But just so the community is aware, we're doing this because we had a bee situation, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
It sounds like they're making a new dumpster area, and they're going to put the dumpsters in it.
Yes, that's what it sounds like, but yeah, I just want to make sure it's communicated. I don't want the community to think that we're spending $12,000 to move a dumpster when we could probably get a couple of people to just move the dumpster. I mean, we're putting a full platform in and making it look nice and need a fence, so on and so forth, in order to prevent the bee situation that is happening at SJJ.
Yeah, I'll send out a summary on that.
Thank you, Gordon.
Any other questions? The next item I have is a possible replacement of the tennis courts. The tennis courts right now have some large cracks in them, and the tennis court is 11 years old, and the average lifespan is 10 years, so we're actually out one more year. They're coming to a point where they are hazardous and they could be dangerous. So my suggestion is that we add it to next year's budget, which will get us into 12 years of use of the tennis courts. The cost is going to be, well, the first estimate I have is $399,000. Actually, I'd gotten them down from $425 to $399, but we're going to get other quotes through the co-op.
Didn't we seal them or fix the cracks maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah, we did do a sealant.
Something that town can help us
That cost $99,000. So do we put another sealant for $99,000, or do we just replace it now at this point?
No, they look terrible, and if the ceiling got us 2 years, they look terrible.
Yeah, can you send us the quote and what the scope would be and everything?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have some questions.
Just a quick question, if I may. Sure. Have we checked with the town council if they're doing any other tennis courts in the bulk deal? See if we can get any press?
No, we haven't checked with the town. This is the school.
Yeah, but the town uses it.
The fact that we keep it as open courts used by anybody, that there might be some kind of, maybe we might be able to work out some kind of share. It's worth a conversation.
Also, I'd like to put on record, I would like the colors to be Pantone 282M, 7406, and 291. No green, blue, tennis courts, please.
Mr. Gibbs, can we just make sure, like, the pictures, they really look terrible? I haven't actually walked by yet myself. Can we just make sure that they are going to be safe for us to wait that long? Like, we don't want kids out there if, yeah.
No, understandable. We could always section it off and not use it if it gets really bad. Given the amount that we're talking about, almost $400,000, that's a lot of money just to pull out of a budget that was not budgeted for this year. That's something you really have to plan on.
Totally get it. Tennis is almost over, so we almost made it through the season this year for our kids, right?
Oh, the boys is in the spring. Boys is spring.
Because the girls are almost done.
March 8th.
I don't know,
Maybe
but
our
we
insurance.
gotta think about that.
And I got a skateboard on it.
I mean, I did send pictures, okay, so take a look at the pictures in the packet, the board packet.
Yeah, I know, I saw them. They're not good.
Yeah.
Look.
All right, well, it's something the board can think about. I mean, I'm just putting it out there as a proposal. And let me know what your thoughts.
Is the 399,000 bid, is that, they're gonna rip everything out, rip all the concrete out?
That's all complete replacement.
What about fencing around it as well, or is that stuff?
No, the fencing would not be touched. It's just the replacement of the material. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to policy. There's two items, the sick day bank policy and the Strauss Esme policy updates.
Yeah, and this one's a pretty quick one, too. The sick day bank policy is something that came up in conversations with the association about whether we would consider having a policy to govern creating a sick day bank that can be used in emergent situations. I know Ms. Shenton set to work on developing something. There is a Strauss policy. It's not terribly strong, but there is a Strauss policy regarding this as well. But we did put it into backup for you to be able to review and determine whether this is something that we want to pursue or that you want to pursue as a board. I don't know if I pretty much cover it.
The teachers want this? Yes. Okay. So this is teacher-based, this is a teacher initiative? Okay. Teacher request? Okay. I mean, it's their sick days.
And then the last one is just about Strauss Esme policy updates. So we put in to, actually for first reading, to review the different policies that came from Strauss. We reviewed these as a committee back in August. It was a lot to the policies, and yet there was very little at the same time. Like, they're not the most engaging or exciting policies, but just the formatting, if anybody were to look at them and say, wait, these look curiously like the Strauss template, it's because that's what they are. That's what we pushed out. But any questions about any of those updates? There were very few that required any type of actual decision-making beyond. There was an option in 0174 regarding legal services. The designated people should remain the school business administrator / board secretary, which is Mr. Gibbs' role, and then board president, which is Mr. Senek's role. And then there was something in policy 5117 about interdistrict public school choice down the bottom of page 3 of 4. There is an option regarding non-resident teaching staff members. My recommendation on that option is to say no. as it's already something that's managed in the collective bargaining agreement. And then finally, student sun protection, which is 53, so they're not in there as first readings. I misspoke there. No, it is. But 5339.01, student sun protection. There are two options there. My recommendation is that we go with the second one, second of the two options that are listed on page 1. The first one's very difficult to track about monitoring if students are carrying sunscreen, especially if it's aerosol sunscreen. And I don't want that to be something that we have to be concerned about, is if we allow a 7th grader to carry around aerosol sun spray, are they going to be spraying it on one another? And if you have somebody who has a fragrance allergy, does that create a liability concern? So those are my recommendations about the Strauss updates, which are also reflected in policies for first reading. That's all I got.
Anybody have any questions on that or comments? All right, that moves us at a workshop to the next opportunity for public comment. Members of the public may speak once for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during this portion of the meeting. They can speak on any topic they wish during their 5 minutes, and if they raise a question, they should direct it to the board president, state your name, and sign in before we begin.
Hello, good evening, Dr. Portis and members of the board. For those of you, I'm sorry, by the way, April Gonzalez on Boulevard. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the treasurer of the Association of Music Parents. On behalf of our entire music program and our Parents Association, I want to extend our sincerest thanks for your ongoing support. First, as you are aware, we had our home show competition this weekend. We had a very successful event with 17 visiting bands attend and a great spectator turnout. Amazingly enough, we finally had a sunny day for it. It only took 7 years, I believe. Thank you to all who attended the event and showed their support. We'd also like to thank the district for providing the necessary custodian and security staff to ensure the event ran smoothly and, most importantly, safely. Your support allowed our parent volunteers the time and the flexibility they needed to focus on setup and ensuring the event was a success for both our students and the community. We truly appreciate the behind-the-scenes help that made such a difference. We'd also like to express our trust in the PTHS administration to find a thoughtful, appropriate, and timely replacement for the theater and vocal department. We know how much production means to our students, their families, and the community, and we're confident that every effort will be made to ensure they continue to have the opportunities and experiences that they all look forward to. Finally, we also want to express our gratitude to you for approving the .4 teaching position to work alongside Mr. Streifer. He's an incredibly dedicated educator who gives us his all across multiple areas of the music program. This additional support is a meaningful investment in our students' growth, and we believe it will have a lasting positive impact on the quality and outreach of our program. I have to say that in a time when many schools are facing cuts to the arts, the fact that our music program is gaining staff speaks volumes. It reflects not only your commitment to the music education, but also to the values of this town. Values that prioritize opportunity, enrichment, and excellence for all students. Thank you again for your continued support and belief in what we do.
Hello, Dave Eslenko again. Just two quick things that were brought up. One is communication from coaches, teachers, any administrator to a student, whether it be GroupMe or text messages. How is that controlled? I know a lot of teams use GroupMe for scheduling and games and all that. Does the school have access to see those messages? And the other thing is communication, right? Everybody talked about being open and communication and transparency. I know every time I reached out, the answer is always on the website. I get that, and it is. It's great. Maybe in the very near future, for the next couple of months, whatever, maybe go above the minimum of just putting it on the website. You know, maybe over-communicate a little bit. Just for the next couple of weeks to show people, like, yes, everybody here and everybody up there agrees that communication is key. Maybe just go a little bit more for a couple of weeks. Like, just really show, like, we hear you, you know, we're updating. Like, when you responded with the third-party vendor, I was like, that's awesome. Like, tell me that, right? Don't make somebody come, oh, what's going on? Like, we have that. If that's something that you can post on the website, just so there's an update so we don't have to come and ask, just the next time we be awesome. Extra communication would be great. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, I'm going to close public comment and move on to unfinished business. Any board member have any unfinished business? What about new business? Any board member with new business? Anybody have any announcements? Okay, at this time, we do have consideration for executive session where we will discuss attorney-client privilege matters. No action will be taken. We will adjourn from there. Our next meeting will be 10:27 here at the high school. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?